All right, guys. We had a text tutorial before, but I'm just going to do another one just so I could show you a few more things that you could do with text. I'm just going to make this background gray so then we're, not looking at such a white or red screen. And then I'm going to make a text box. So I'm just going to say hello for now. And where did it go? Oh, it's over there. All right, so I'm going to make this bigger. I'm going to highlight it. And I'm going to even make it bigger than that. So I'm going to make this maybe like 300. Maybe like 500. Okay, so here's my text. So there's some of you, that have some ideas, and I want to like show you what you can do with that, and also just to broaden, some more things that you could do with text. So again, I just don't want you, taking a font and then like that's it. You need to do something to the text. You need to manipulate it somehow. So the first thing is, I want to find a text at first that I like, and then I'm going to go edit it even more. So let's see. Oh, I kind of like this one. So I'm going to leave this one for what I'm going to do. And then I'm also going to change the font white. So I'm going to highlight it. Bear with me. And then I'm going to change it to white and click OK. All right. So now my font is white. So some of you, you had this idea with maybe like doing something with clouds. So you could start off with a text that has like, some kind of like roundish, kind of feel. You don't want something that's pointy. And then, you could have your text here. So now what you can do is, it's up to you. You could try and do it here with like, one word. Or you could actually do each individual letter and then space them out the way you like it. The only problem is sometimes when it's like this, you might get too close to each of the letters when you're adding to it. So that's the only thing that you might want to do differently is you might want to just do each individual letter. But I'm just going to show you like as a whole just so you could get an idea. So then I'm going to take my ellipse tool and I'm going to fill it with white, just like the text. And then I'm going to just start making some shapes. So literally, I'm just going to make, some ellipses and I'm going to place them, around the letters. And then I'm going to just duplicate them and then I'm going to, maybe even change their size. So maybe I'll make this one wider and smaller. So then you get like a different kind of bump and maybe come out a little bit more. So I want to see, like, I want to try and form a cloud. So that's where I'm, kind of going with here. I might, change it a little bit. Maybe just like make it a little bit wider. All right, there we go. And then, like you said, then you just keep duplicating the layer and then, just keep changing the way that your circles end up being because, like you said, a cloud is very, organic and it's not, it's not perfect. So that's the thing. You want to make sure that you're, creating something that looks, like a cloud. So like you said, you could kind of maybe, go back and forth between, these kinds of shapes. You could even like come out even more. Well, not that more. Like you want to make it kind of go like flowing with one another. So let's see how this looks. So like, yeah, that looks pretty good. Um, and then like I said, you just go around the whole shape with, your circles. Then what you would do is what you could do. Um, it's up to you. I mean, I want to see that you're, somewhat manipulating your shapes. So, and your letters. So it depends. I don't want you to merge everything because then I'm not going to see this. Right now, it's not like when the letter is off, like you don't see the outlines of anything anyway. So when you zoom out, you see everything. So it's fine. So what you could do is you could just put all the shapes inside of a folder so then it doesn't, get a little crazy. So you can make a folder and just do the letter, H and then, do the next one. And then, like I said, you could get your word literally to look like a cloud. So that's one way of doing things. Another thing, so I'm going to delete that because I want to just, do something else with this layer. So now another thing is you can make text look like it's like actually, moving. So the first thing I'm going to do is I want to change this back to black. And then I'm going to change the other one back to black. And then I'm going to show you what you can do. So the first thing is you need to have your base text. So we'll use this one as your base text. The other one, actually, you know what? We're going to use this one as the base text because this one's behind it. So, you want to maybe look as if something is moving. So what you can do is we could go on this text and we could go to filter and we could go to blur. And then we could go to motion blur. And we'll rasterize the layer. And then, as you can see, it gets kind of like stretched out as if it's like moving. You could also change the angle that you want it to move. So, like I said, you just have to see which way you want it to, go. So, like, say maybe you want it on an angle, and then that would be like that, and then you could kind of put your text, here. So, and the thing is, now you might want to change this font. You might want to give it like a little bit of a stroke, just so it stands out a little bit more. So like that, like even you could do whatever color you want, but I just had red selected on it, and then you could do something like this. And then, like I said, you could keep going back to the the blur, motion blur, and keep adding it to the the way that it looks. So like I said, that kind of like makes it look a little faster. And then you could duplicate the layer again, and then you could even have it like moved over a little bit more, or down even more, or whatever. And then same thing, you could go to filter, blur, motion blur, and then see what happens. So let's try and put it all the way up. So yeah, so like I said, it kind of, you want to space it out a little bit too. So like I said, you have to play around with it. You might be okay with just one. So like I said, you play around with it and you see what you like. Like maybe I like that motion blur a little bit better, instead of this one. Or not, I don't know. So like I said, you got to play around with it. Also, like I said, there are so many other blurs, that you could see, what they do. So for example, I'm just gonna go step back just to see. Oh, actually, hold on. I'm gonna step back a little bit more. Okay, so I'm going to do it one more time, but I'm gonna do, let's see, like what other blurs there are. There's a radial blur. So let's see what that looks like. And then I'm just gonna move this out of the way. And then this will probably, like have it more rotated of a blur. Yeah, like you could see it's like starting to go like in a circle. Yeah, so you could even do something like this. Like maybe something is like flying in the air, and like you could like literally have your text like rotate. So like this is something that you might want to do too. Like I said, you want to create and do something different to your text. Remember, there's also all these other kinds of filters in here, so play around with them. And then also, like I said, when you double click on a text, you have all of these other kinds of things too, where you could add a stroke, you could, add like a glow, you could do a gradient overlay, pattern overlay. There's so many things that you could do to text. Another thing that you can do is, so I'm going to keep this one, I'm going to delete this one. So the reason why I kept the rasterized text is because I would have to keep it rasterized anyway. You could take, your selection tool, and you could literally even just like maybe you like a patterned kind of look. So I can, maybe create like lines. Maybe I could do diagonal lines, whatever. So you could either delete. So maybe I like, part of this to be deleted. If you want to keep, hold on. So I'm going to just undo for a second. If you want to keep the same shape, then you can literally just move the selection. So let's see, you can transform selection. And then I'm just going to move it down a little bit more. Because the thing is, if you want to keep the same width, then that's what I would do. So then I could hit delete again. And then I would just have to, go to select, transform selection, so I could keep moving this similar, selection. And then I'll do it again. And then over here. And, you want to try and keep it so, like I said, you are not deleting areas that you shouldn't. And then let me just move down a little bit more. So like I said, I could literally, now I'm changing the way that the text looks based on just literally deleting part of it. And I'm just gonna move this down a little bit more. And then there you go. And then I'm just gonna select and then deselect. And then there's my new text. And the cool thing is with this one, it's now see-through because I deleted the text. So maybe I'm just gonna bring this in because I have it right here. So maybe I'm just gonna bring in an image and I'm going to make it a little bit bigger so then or actually I could make this a little bit smaller. So I'm gonna have that, I'm gonna move my hello text above it. And look, see, it's now see-through. And I'm just gonna make this a little bit smaller. And there you go. So like I said, that is what I'm talking about when I want you to manipulate text. I don't want you just like literally typing and then that's it. Like just finding a font. I want you to change it somehow, some type of way. So like there's so many different options. I even, on Classroom, you guys are going to get all of these different text tutorials. So there's plenty of different things that you could do with text, even beyond what I showed you. And you could always, click on YouTube and search something. I'm sure there's a tutorial for it. So yeah, so that's what you're gonna do. So just make sure you are manipulating text some shape or form or way. I just don't want plain, boring text.